Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Investments. Today on the show I have Walt with us, another crypto investor. And this episode, everyone's been waiting for this episode. I've had a lot of people ask, when are you going to do a crypto video? Well, I got someone with me now, and we can double team it and answer everyone's questions. We're going to talk about the history of crypto, some of the better coin structures. We have a whiteboard or dry erase here to show you some charting. And before we get started, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. That'll really help the channel out a lot, and it'll help us to keep doing videos like this in the future. Let's get started. Alright, so first up, the number one thing with crypto is you got to learn the history of it and where crypto comes from to even get a mindset of what this thing is all about. What is this new digital currency and where did it come from? So I'll let Walt take over and give you a little history lesson.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. So the other day I did a video on real estate because that's my background, and I said in that video that real estate was the #1 wealth building tool in the history of mankind. And while that's statistically true over the long period of history, there's an asset class that has far exceeded real estate over the last decade, and that's actually Bitcoin. So let's dive into a little bit about what it is and how it came to be. I'm going to take you back to the fall of 2018. Right, we're right in the middle of a financial crisis. The banks are crashing. We're about to bail them out. And this random white paper shows up on the internet from a pseudonym. Nobody really knows who wrote it. Was it multiple people that wrote it? But the concept was a decentralized electronic currency called Bitcoin. And that's really where it all began. And when it started, nobody really knew what it was, how it was going to come to be. But in February of 2011, so fast forward 2.5 years from that white paper, Bitcoin passed the $1 mark. And everyone at the time said, what in the world is this fake internet money thing? And a lot of people had no idea that it was going to do anything. And fast forward a couple more years, the end of 2013, it's now over $1,000. Fast forward a few more years, we're at the end of 2017, it's over $10,000 per coin, and people at that point were really starting to take notice, and they were starting to see maybe this Bitcoin thing isn't just some fad that's going to pass, maybe there's some actual validity to this thing. Now, if you look at Bitcoin right now, today, it's over 60,000 per coin. It has spawned a whole new generation of cryptocurrencies. There are thousands and thousands of coins that are out there now. But it all started with that one white paper in 2018. Now, Bitcoin is by far the first. It was the Coca-Cola of crypto, if you will. But many new cryptos have come along that have improved on Bitcoin and on the process, on the technology. So right around the 2013 mark, people really started to understand that Bitcoin was going to be a thing and cryptocurrency was really the future. And so Ethereum came around. And Ethereum was designed to capitalize on some of the flaws that Bitcoin had. Now, Bitcoin is phenomenal at what it does. $60,000 per coin from nothing, it's amazing. But Bitcoin is essentially an electronic currency. That's what it was designed for, and that's really the use that it has. Ethereum added in smart contract technology and really revolutionized the way crypto functions in society. So now we see cryptos that have impacts on not only finance, but on logistics, on commerce, on telecommunications, on everything you can imagine, because the technology that is in them is so much more than just currency. Fast forward a couple more years, the 2015 timeframe, the co-founder of Ethereum created a new and improved blockchain called Cardano. And it was essentially meant to take the groundwork of Ethereum, make it better, faster, more stable. And now we see Cardano making some amazing inroads in the finance world, in other countries. The ecosystem that Ethereum and Cardano touches are just mind-boggling at this point. So that's just a quick little history of how it got started. When Bitcoin first really started to move, if you go back exactly 1 decade ago from today, in 2010, 2011 timeframe, the price of Bitcoin was about 80 cents. It's $60,000 now. Now, that's hard to quantify, but if you had a $500 investment and you purchased $500 worth of Bitcoin exactly 1 decade ago today, that would be worth roughly $37.5 million right now. So that's really the scale that we're talking about. That's the decade history that one specific asset class has had. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Excellent. So now a lot of people want to know what coin is the best and what should I invest in? Let's get started with that chapter. Alright, so which coin is the best and what should you invest in? Well, we're only going to have time to just discuss 5 or 6 coins. There's going to be many more to touch on, but we really want to know, what do you want to know about? We're starting it off with some of the big ones, and things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Harmony, VeChain, and ones like that. So Walt, what do you think of Bitcoin?
Buy them all in.
All of them.
So Bitcoin's interesting because it's the first, right? And it's set the stage. It's not going anywhere. It is the foundation of cryptocurrency. But it's $60,000 a coin. So a lot of people will ask, well, how can it possibly continue to go up in value? And the answer is, it will. From its inception to now, roughly 57,000% increase over a decade. It's not going to do that again, but that is a great proof of concept for what newer projects that are technically more advanced and have more utility could potentially do over the next decade. So I watch Bitcoin every day. I watch the price movements. I watch how Bitcoin correlates to other cryptocurrencies to watch for the right entry points on new coins that maybe I just found out about. But Bitcoin is actually still a great investment. It went up 800% just last year. Now, short of Bitcoin, if $60,000 a coin just doesn't seem like your cup of tea, the next one in line, certainly by market cap as well as by utility, is Ethereum. The ecosystem that Ethereum runs on alone is just mind-boggling. Of the roughly 6,000 coins that exist right now, more than half of those run on the Ethereum blockchain network. And then you have institutional investors like HSBC, ING, Mercedes, and on that are utilizing the Ethereum system to transact and to operate. So Ethereum is going nowhere anytime soon, and they have a long way to go still in this bull market specifically. Now, as you move down the line, Cardano was created specifically to address some of the flaws that Ethereum has. And so one of those is proof of stake vice proof of work. Our Cardano was the first coin to change the way that they validate and authenticate their coins, and they went to a proof of stake concept, arguably far better and far more secure than proof of work. Ethereum is actually in the process right now of changing over to proof of stake because they've realized how efficient that is and how it's far more useful. So Cardano's trading at about $1.25 right now. Ethereum's trading at a little over 2,100 right now, and Bitcoin is trading at a little over 60,000 right now. All three of those have great use and will probably continue to be great investments a decade from now. I'll put my money on Ethereum and Cardano simply because the ecosystem that they've built, the different things that they have connected into are vast, and so that gives them a great amount of utility over Bitcoin, which, while it is a 100% viable currency now, I just feel like Ethereum and Cardano have so much more going on for them.
Yeah, like they haven't moved a whole lot. They're still at only their minimal performance. Bitcoin's been around for so long that's why it's so high.
Exactly.
These guys are just starting to take off.
Yeah.
And now's the time to get in.
Exactly right. And if you think about a quick example of what Bitcoin did, and we say Bitcoin went up 57,000% in 10 years, it went up 800% last year still, and then we say there are cryptos out there that not only are better technology, but have more utility. They have more infrastructure built around them. It's not a hard argument to say that those will do just as good as Bitcoin did, if not better, over the next decade. So that's where my money's at for sure, is some of the newer projects that have great utility and are poised to really skyrocket still. And then there's some new kids on the block that a lot of people have probably never heard of, even if you know a little bit about crypto. There's some great projects out there that are less focused on currency and more focused on the utility of taking the blockchain network and a decentralized platform and putting that into infrastructures that already exist. So things like supply chain management and logistics, streaming services for your internet bandwidth. Those things are a little bit antiquated in terms of the way we used to do business, and there's great cryptos that are taking advantage of the technology that is inherent in blockchain to revolutionize those markets. So for example, Tron is a relatively new crypto, and they have a decentralized platform that's designed to serve as a content distribution platform in the entertainment industry. Essentially what they're trying to do is decentralize and recreate the internet, and it's a pretty phenomenal thing. It's trading at about 12 cents right now. So if you think about 12 cents by $60,000, a little bit of money could go a long way. That's essentially what Bitcoin was trading at 11 years ago. With great utility built into it. VeChain is another one. So VeChain is a blockchain-powered supply chain management platform that wants to decentralize and really revolutionize the way supply chain management works. And they've recently partnered up with Walmart in China to track their movements of goods and services across the world. And so that's a really great inroad for VeChain to get into. And again, we're talking about a coin that is trading 11.5, 12 cents per coin. Massive upside potential still for VeChain with that supply chain management utility.
Yeah, so don't think about the coins as just a currency. Look at the utilities behind them and what they're actually being used for. All these cryptos are completely different. Their structures are different. They have different pros and cons to them. And we would never invest in anything and recommend you invest in anything if we didn't fully trust the coin ourselves. We don't just randomly throw our money into the next coin that comes out. We're looking for those powerhouses that are going to have great returns and actually stay around for a long time.
Exactly right. I mean, I bought them all. I bought every five.
Yeah.
I have all 5,000 up. No, just
right.
kidding. Yeah, I own the coins that we're talking about because I really do believe that the utility and the technology is what sets them apart. This 5,000 coins, they're not all going to be great. They can't all serve a huge utility purpose, and they certainly can't all become the next currency. But when you find the coins that have a mission and a structure built around a very, very useful utility, those are the ones you really start to take notice of, and you want to watch those price movements very carefully.
Yeah. It's kind of like Dogcoin or Dogecoin, whatever you want to call it, that meme coin. Yeah, I invested a little bit, made some money in it, but my focus is not on that. So many people think that thing's going to go to $1. I just don't see it happening with no cap.
I will now, in the interest of full disclosure, I bought some Dogecoin at the right time because I watched the charts, and I've already sold it as well, and I made a good return on my investment in a very short amount of time, but it's not long-term sustainable. It doesn't have the utility built into it like the things that we're talking about here, not even close.
Right. So now where it stands with where these coins are at, with Bitcoin, it's hitting 60,000, Ethereum hitting that 2,100 level, Cardano around 125. So, Walt, what, in your opinion, what do you think will happen with these coins?
The moon, right? Diamond hands, that's what they say. I'm a numbers guy, right? I spent decades doing analytical work professionally, so I like the numbers. I like to look at the trends. They say, past performance is not indicative of future results. I will tell you that history disagrees with that. Past performance is absolutely indicative of future results. That's how we determine what something might do. That's the basis for a real estate comp. What did it sell for? What should it be valued at? So I like to break down the numbers. Bitcoin went up roughly 800% last year. And that's a $60,000 coin that still went up 800%. Ethereum went up roughly 1,100%. in the last year. That's a $2,000 coin. Cardano, which is only $1.25 right now, went up about 3,600% in the last year.
It was just trading at 3 cents
Was
like
just
10, 11 months ago.
Exactly. If you look at some of the newer missions out there, like Harmony, their one token is up 6,500% in a year, and it's still trading at less than 20 cents. Tron's at 12 cents. VeChain is at 11 cents. As you slide that scale of price down, you slide that scale of potential returns up, simply because if we looked at the historical trend, right, 57,000% gain in a decade for Bitcoin, these coins, while they might not do 57,000% because they're not Bitcoin, even if we're half wrong, you're doing all right. And so I fully expect if you pick the right coins with the right utility and you time those so that you're in it before they're $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 per coin, you will very likely see multi-thousand% gains over the next year, and even multi-thousand% gains yearly over the next few years as we run this bull market up to its top.
Absolutely. And then a lot of people say that Ethereum follows Bitcoin perfectly, so as Bitcoin rises, Ethereum rises when it goes down, but we've been seeing a kind of a breakout where Ethereum is starting to go higher than a perfect follow behind.
So there's actually a really great chart out there that a lot of the technical analysts will watch, in addition to the individual cryptos charts, is there is a Bitcoin correlation, so the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, Cardano to Bitcoin chart. And what they're essentially measuring is what is the strength of the price movements for the other cryptos in relation to the strength of the price movement of Bitcoin. Because again, Bitcoin is the standard bearer at this point. Bitcoin is the baseline by which we're gauging the strengths and weaknesses of the other coins as they move. So that's a very interesting correlation. And you're right, there's some great breakouts that are happening right now outside of that Bitcoin correlation, where some of these younger cryptos are really starting to take off on their own.
Absolutely. And what everyone's been waiting on is answers to their own questions.
Yeah. So diving into some questions, Tim on Twitter had asked, what are the things that you consider when you're researching a coin to buy? And there are lots of different metrics out there, both the fundamentals of the project as well as the technicals of where is the price movement at this time, where do I jump in. But as I'm researching individual coins that I think might be an interesting investment, I like to look at two things. I like to look at the utility of that coin's project, and I like to look at what is the ability for mass adoption of that coin's platform. And so I'm looking at things like, what industry might this coin disrupt by bringing blockchain technology to it? And so the Tron example or the VeChain example of ways they're revolutionizing the supply chain with the crypto infrastructure, that's a great coin to get into. The utility is there. The mass adoption we're really already starting to see with the way they're working with China in VeChain's case. So those are the big two for me fundamentally for the coins. From there, I go to the charts and I start breaking down the analytics, right? Is there a spot where I think it might retract and I have a good buying position? Or am I already at a base where I feel like I can get right in and ride it up? There's some technical data you can look at to determine the best entry point. But long-term investment-wise, I like utility and I like the ability of that platform to be adopted on a large scale. Another question we got was from Carol on Facebook, and that question was specifically about Theta and what we thought about Theta, what was it going to do. So I'm going to read a snippet here about Theta because it's an interesting project. Theta is a decentralized blockchain-powered network designed to optimize video streaming data, edge computing, data delivery, and the goal is to make it more efficient and more fair for the industry participants to use. And so, for example, if you think about things like your bandwidth, you think about things like streaming Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and all those other content providers that are streaming services into your TV or your computer. Theta is trying to decentralize the streaming concept to make it less expensive for you, easier for you, and when you look at it on bandwidth issues, if you've got slow bandwidth because you live out in the sticks and you just don't have good internet, but I have great bandwidth where I live, the infrastructure would allow me to share my data with you in order for you to stream more efficiently when you needed it if I wasn't using it. And so it creates a decentralized streaming environment where individual end users can trade their data through the Theta token, making it far more efficient and over the course of time far more cost effective. Now I think that's one that's just going to revolutionize the content streaming industry. So I'm watching it very closely. It's a very interesting coin. I like it, Carol. Great tip to us. I'm going to keep a close eye on it. It's trading at just under $13 per coin right now because they have made such great inroads and they've got great partnerships put together already. So that coin has moved quite a bit, but I think it's got a lot of room to grow still as that industry really develops.
Yeah, America has a huge problem with internet, slow internet, especially in Virginia here. I mean, there's so many cities around here that do not even have dial-up internet. That are just, they don't have access to anything, and it takes them months to run the high-speed lines like through a town. I love Elon Musk's Starlink concept. I think that's going to do great things for Central Virginia rural areas with satellite, but that takes months to deploy once you sign up for it. And in the meantime, whether it's DSL, whether it's high-speed fiber, whether it's satellite internet, whether it's cellular broadband, Theta will be able to take all of that data streaming and make it better regardless of what system it's being used on. So it's pretty cool. Nice.
Moving on to our next question. So Jeremy on Facebook had asked, with how much crypto has grown recently, should we just wait for a big drop before we jump in? Should we just wait for the whole thing to crash? I would say to Jeremy, 57,500% increase in a decade on Bitcoin. Did it lose value at points? Absolutely. If you were to try to time when it was going to lose that value, you would have lost more money than you would have gained as opposed to simply holding it for the long term. For example, $60,000 Bitcoin is up about $800 this year alone. Now, markets move just like the stock market. Crypto markets have bull runs and bear runs. We are absolutely still in a bear run. If you follow the trends of the 2011 run, 2013, 2015, 2017, and you watch how much the run happened and then what was the retraction, it's pretty easy to see that the crypto space still has several months of a bull run. If I had to predict a time frame when I thought the bull run was going to cool down, maybe early 2022, at the soonest the very end of this year. So there's still lots of time to make a good amount of money in crypto before it even thinks about slowing down. The other thing you have to think about is the environment in which crypto lives in 2021 is drastically different than it was even in 2017, but especially in 2013 and 2011, where it ran up really high and came down a fair chunk. We may not see that same level of retraction because crypto really is becoming so much more mainstream that once it comes up in price, it's happening not because of some crazy pump or some random spike. It's happening because the crypto technology and the utility behind the projects are actually catching on. They're partnering with business entities, and that's driving the value of the coin up. So I don't think we're going to see major crashes in the crypto market like we did in 2011, for example, when Bitcoin came down roughly 50% of its value before eventually going back up. We may not see that same level of depth in the retractions, and we still have a lot of room to grow. I wouldn't wait if I were you. Now, by all means, run the technical analysis on the individual coins. so you can identify the best entry point, because there's always volatility within the trades over a course of a month, over a course of a week. You will see fluctuations in price. If you know how to read the charts, you know how to wait for the right time to enter. But don't wait long term or you're going to lose money.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like, for example, on Harmony, you know, people that got in at 18 cents, they said, I got in way too high of a point, and I'm going to lose a lot of money and all because it dropped to, you know, the 14, 15 cents there for a while. Now but it's the thing is that you're not losing money, just hold it. I mean, when it gets up 50 cents, $1, $1.50, I mean, you're going to come out so good because you got in so cheap. If you wait and wait and then you said, oh, now it's at 50 cents.
Exactly.
And, you know, you just keep holding off and you're just losing more and more money because you're not getting in. So a high point in crypto is different than a high point in stock.
Yeah.
Stock can, go down and stay down, whereas crypto, if it's the right coin, it'll go up and it'll go up big, like Ethereum and Bitcoin and some of these big ones. You know, I can't say that for some of these smaller, newer coins with they're more useless or just don't have the utilities that the others do.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned Harmony, because I'm a big fan of Harmony. I really like that project. I like the mission. I like the technology going into that. And a lot of people have had that comment. They said, well, Harmony hasn't moved in days and almost weeks. Like, it doesn't seem like it's doing anything. And we'll talk about that towards the end of this video. I'm actually going to break out the charts for you on Harmony and show you why it is that it's taken a pause, which is a good thing. We're not seeing massive dips, but we certainly are seeing a pause, and that's what you would expect to see. Moving on real quick. So Caden had asked, what are some good apps to hold your crypto in if you're just getting started and you're looking for a way to buy crypto? So traditionally, crypto was held inside of a hard wallet, right? You had an external storage device, and it was complicated, and there was crypto keys you had to remember. I know one guy lost $200 million worth of Bitcoin because he lost his key. Now you can actually go on to online brokerages that specialize in crypto, and all of the wallet and the key and the encryption is inherent in the system, so you don't have to worry about losing it, which is great. There's a bunch of them out there. Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, Crypto.com, Kraken are some of the few. Hat tip to Coinbase, they're actually going to launch their IPO next week on April 14th. This is going to be the largest cryptocurrency brokerage in the world. 56 million users on the Coinbase platform, 7,000 institutions trading crypto on Coinbase. They're going live, and they're going to start trading on the public stock market next week. If that doesn't give you an indication of where the cryptocurrencies are moving, I don't know what will. I mean, it's getting so mainstream that we've got mutual funds focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've got Coinbase, the brokerage, doing an IPO next week on the stock market. It's phenomenal. So the short answer to that question is, I like Coinbase, I like Crypto.com, I like Binance. I actually have all three. Different reasons to like each one of them. Generally speaking, if you're not sure what coin you want to invest in and you're just now getting started, Binance probably has the largest amount of coins that are tradable on it. So maybe look at that one first. It's a little more technical, and they break out some charts and some data that might be over a lot of folks' heads, especially as beginners. But you're going to have a lot more options on which coins you can buy and trade on Binance.
And when I look at apps, I'm looking for who actually carries the coin that I want. Yeah. A lot of these people are like, oh, I want the lowest fee, and this one, I'm going to use this one. It's like, I use Kraken, but in the US, you have to do wire transfers. Yeah. It costs money to do a wire transfer, and then there's more fees to come off on the brokerage side. But I wanted Cardano. That was the only one we could get at the time. Now that it's on Binance,
Coinbase,
I quit Kraken, went to Binance, because now I can use a credit card to purchase, and with Ethereum, I buy it through Gemini and switch it to BlockFi so that I get the interest rates. I get free Ethereum and Bitcoin interest, because the longer you hold it in there, the more and more you collect on it, and they keep it in cold storage. Yep. And so it's a safe place, but everyone has their preferences. That's just how I do it. Some people, want the lowest fee, but I would say, don't sign up with a brokerage that doesn't have any of the coins that you want.
Exactly right. Yeah. Go with the ones that give you the options you need and has the utility that function that works for you. Format, etc. Tools. If you're gonna dive into analyzing coins on your own, maybe look at the ones that have some good trader tutorials and have some good tools to help you analyze the right coins before you dive into them. Absolutely. And then I think you had some questions as well from some folks, right?
Yeah. Brian A. writes, when looking at a coin, how do I know it will go up? There's a lot of charts and technical analysis that can go into it. You could either get lucky or you can become a professional at reading charts and learning it that way. What do you think?
I think my number one indication is to watch Brian's YouTube videos and just do what he does. That's always going to be my default. So I like two things, right? I'm an old school investor. I like fundamental analysis first, meaning let me analyze, in terms of stocks, let me analyze the company. Do I feel like the company's product or service is sound? Is it going to have a future? In crypto, that's the utility, right? Do I feel like the crypto has something that the overall market will latch onto and it will build? From there, I look at the technicals, because long term, fundamentally, I can say I know that coin will do great because the utility is there. They're revolutionizing their market. Short term, though, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to make $1 million overnight. I need to look at the charts to determine where is the price movement at right now. Are they in an accumulation phase? Are they in a particular bullish or bearish pattern that I need them to break out of before I invest? And so the charts really help break it down on the technical level to determine what's the price doing short term, when do I want to dive in, am I waiting for a particular break in the movement? And so there's a lot of technical analysis that you can do for that. But I always start with the fundamentals of, is the mission of the crypto, is the technology behind the crypto sound, and I feel like it has a future? And if it does, then I'll spend the time to dive into the charts to analyze where I want to jump in. If the fundamentals are right, it'll go up long term. I know that. It's simply a matter of where's my entry point before it starts going up. And that's what the charts are good for.
Yeah. And then, watch out for hype. Like in stocks, AMC, Nokia, things like that. Huge hypes. People started jumping in. They lost so much money because everyone said this was the next big thing. You got to kind of watch that with crypto too, because someone will just say, I just put $10,000 into this coin. This is going to be the next big thing. Right now NFTs, which I believe both of us are not into, this digital art type thing, and there's a lot of issues. There's it's supposed to be you're the sole owner of that artwork. Now there's copies being made. There's lost artwork. People spend $1 million or something on something, lost it. So just be really careful about when everyone starts talking about something. Do your own due diligence, your own research before you invest your own money into it.
Absolutely. And when you're looking at again the utility, like the Nifty is a great example. Nifty is non-fungible tokens. If you're not sure what that is, you can Google it. If you start looking at cryptos that specialize in Nifties, there are lots of them, and so any platform can say we're going to do Nifties, because it's essentially just an electronic version of something, whereas that's not necessarily a groundbreaking utility, right? If everyone can do that, there's 15 or 20 of those, how do you differentiate which one's really going to make a market move? So I look for the ones that have a unique utility that I think are going to do well. And I agree with you. I think Nifty's, while interesting in concept, might be a fad that dies out in a few years. I don't know. But it's so easy to do that there's many different cryptos that are betting on being the next great nifty crypto. So it's just not my thing.
There's no standard to it. Like people are going into paint and just creating whatever and selling it. And then you went from these like really cool art pieces to now these just crappy stick figure drawings.
Yeah.
And
I totally agree. Totally agree.
So you may ask, what can crypto be used for? What is the point of it? Believe it or not, there's a lot of companies out there that are already using it. They've actually been using it for a few years now that no one's really realized. You can go into a marketplace, you can buy a computer, you could probably buy a car now. You can buy basically anything like an Amazon and ship it to your door. Companies like Microsoft, Overstock, Dish Network, Subway, Newegg, Coca-Cola, Home Depot, Starbucks, Twitch, Whole Foods, the list goes on. But all these companies are accepting cryptos. You can actually go into a Subway, depending on which company is which country is actually accepting it right now. You know, buy a sub and a drink or a combo meal and actually pay for it in cryptocurrency. Coca-Cola has vending machines. You can actually swipe, like a Bitcoin credit card and actually buy your soda from a vending machine straight in crypto without any need for US dollars, euros, or any of the other currencies.
It's amazing the mass adoption that we've seen in just the last few years. There are now credit cards that are specifically backed by your holdings of cryptocurrency. There are ATM machines that will accept your cryptocurrency holdings and give you cash out of the ATM based on the crypto that you held. The value is there. The utility is absolutely amazing to see mainstream companies allowing you to use crypto. And it wasn't, it's not just Elon Musk will let you buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. That's cool. That's neat. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about credit card systems backed by your crypto. ATM machines that will give you money based on your crypto account. I mean, that's the level of adoption that cryptocurrency has at this point. It's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, it's not Venmo, it's not like Square or these smaller companies that are doing it. No, Visa, arguably, possibly the biggest credit card company out there, is actually doing it.
And PayPal's right behind them. PayPal is now coming around saying we're going to change the way we do PayPal to allow crypto as a means of payment on PayPal. Yeah, absolutely.
So then that adapts into eBay and all these other online marketplaces, and then once it starts with one, everyone else follows, and it just keeps blowing up.
Exactly right.
All right, now it's time to talk about some charts. Cardano and Harmony is what Walt's going to be talking about, and we'll be drawing you out some charts here showing different resistance levels, and I'll let him take it from here.
Awesome. So bear with me, I'm a lefty and I'm going to try my best to do this right-handed so I don't block the screen. So two of the other questions that we got, I'm going to start with Harmony. One of those questions was, someone had said, Harmony hasn't really moved in a while. It seems kind of stagnant. What's going on there? And the reality is, Harmony is up over 6,000% in a year. It's up over 300% in the last month. And so that's pretty darn good, 6,000% in a year. It needs some consolidation before it moves again. And so that's what we're talking about a little bit here. So if we look at Harmony and we break out the chart, I printed this, but it's a little small. I'm going to try to replicate it for you on here. We've got a 6,000% move in a year. And now what we kind of see is these little bit of spikes, little bit of ebbs and flows into where we're at now. Now, we've got really good support at about 11.5 to 12 cents as a base. And we've seen numerous times where it has come down drastically low to that number and didn't pass it. Beyond that, we've got a really good base of support at around 15 cents, which if you're looking at it lately, what you'll see is it'll come up to about 17 and it'll come back down to 15 and it'll come back off of 15, and we're kind of teetering at 15 right now, especially as we get in just these last week or so. We're in a really, really tight trading channel where we've only moved from about the 15-cent mark to about a 17-cent mark. And, in crypto, that's slow, right? What is it doing? But what you see on the chart is what I call sideways trading, meaning the price is not distinctively up or down over the last week or two. It's trading in a very tight channel between about 15 and 17.5 cents, and it's trading with very, very low volume. And that's a classic consolidation pattern of very low volume, sideways trading. Now, at some point, one of two things will have to happen. Either we'll break out of that consolidation pattern and we'll go down and we'll test that 12-cent or so mark, or we'll break out of that consolidation pattern and we'll come back up and we'll start pushing towards our new highs of that 22-cent mark. A lot of people think it'll be at a quarter before the end of April. Some people will surmise that it'll be at $1 before the end of April. I think that's a bit rich. But once we break that consolidation pattern, we can start seeing some pretty solid gains again. But listen, folks, over 6,000% in a year, over 300% in the month, to see a little bit of consolidation before we see the next price movement is perfectly normal, and that's actually a really healthy sign for a stock or for a crypto before we see the price blow up on us again. But hopefully that was helpful for you when we broke out Harmony. And another one that I'm getting a lot of questions on is Cardano, right? It has great movement as well, 3,000% movement in the last year, but it's actually only up about 2% in the last month, which is just silly for a crypto. Like, that's stagnant. And again, I'm going to show you why that is. There's massive, massive consolidation going on right now. So what I've drawn on the chart here is the 26th of March all the way through the 10th of April. So that's about a 2.5-3 week time frame. And what we're looking at on the chart, we came up through this, we hit our high range, and we've just been bouncing in this channel, little spike here. And so this is what the price action looks like over almost a 3-week period after a 3,000% gain on the year. 116 as the low, 124 as the high. You go 8 cents in 3 weeks? What is going on here? But again, this is a classic consolidation pattern. The volume on here is barely perceptible on the actual printed chart. And it's not uncommon to see solid consolidation periods before a spike in price. And I'll give you a quick example. Earlier in the video, I said I don't own any Doge, but I bought some because I was watching it. And here's exactly what I did. I saw the consolidation happening in Dogecoin, and I watched the consolidation long enough to know this is a great entry point. At some point, we're going to break from here. And I bought it in the consolidation channel. It spiked, and I sold it at the spike, and now it's come back down. This is exactly how you want to find an entry point for crypto. Analyze the fundamentals, identify where there's either a consolidation pattern that can break through, or if there's another pattern that would suggest to you that the price is moving up, get in at those times, and then hold it long term and wait for the fun.
All right, so that's all we got for this video. I want to thank Walt again for all his expertise and helpful advice in charting. It's been a great episode. Again, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see a lot more of us. And make sure you join our Discord channel, which is going to be in a link down below in the description. Love to have you. You can talk one-on-one with us or as a group. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's a chat room, and you can post, charts, photos, videos, all sorts of things. You can private message and all. It's completely 100% free. We'd love to have you there, and you can learn a lot more, ask us questions. And I think this has been a really helpful video. And if you have more questions, definitely let us know in the Discord or comment in the YouTube video. Let us know your questions so we can have another Q&A. We're filming here at the Omni Hotel in Charlottesville, Virginia. I want to thank them for allowing us to film here. It's been a great backdrop and a great atmosphere. Yeah. So thanks again
for
lunch joining.
Too. Yeah,
excellent lunch. If you're in Charlottesville, Virginia, definitely stop by and check it out. You don't have to stay here. You can just come in and have lunch and check it all out.
Yeah. I'll just say that if you like the charts, if you like the data, jump on that Discord group that we're talking about. It's a lot easier to break out a chart on an actual system that is designed for charts and then share that with the group, break out the trends, show you what an ascending triangle looks like, talk to you about the entry points and how they are identified. So jump on that Discord group. If you have questions, if there's specific coins that you want us to analyze, drop a comment. We're happy to do another video series on specific coins. There's just so many coins, it would have taken forever to do them all. Otherwise, get out there and let's make some money.
Yeah. Thanks again. See you in the next video.